Of the Imperium's many enemies, the Orcs are widely regarded to be among the most bizarre and unorthodox. While most of the Imperium's foes can be reliably counted on to adhere to the laws of logic and physics, Orc armies function on an entirely different set of laws, the laws of belief and imagination. If an Orc warband believes that painting a truck red will make it go faster, then it does. If they believe that painting a rocket yellow will make it explode more violently, then it will. If they believe that their engineers can build a perfectly functional gun out of scrap metal and loose change, then they can. This power of belief is nothing out of the ordinary for Orcs, but the Kolorful Krew is a warband that takes the Orcoid power of imagination, particularly as it relates to color, to its furthest logical extreme. Organized into 6 color-coded mobs, each led by a charismatic nob that exemplifies the abilities assigned to their respective color, the Kolorful Krew harnesses the full power of the visible spectrum to challenge the Imperium, all under the experienced eyes of their rainbow-coated leader, Old Kromadaka, the boss most colorful. Boss Kromadaka was once a simple nob of little renown within the Goths, who wanted nothing more than to excel in everything he did. It wasn't enough for his burgeoning Orcoid ego to be the best at firing his shooter, nor the best at wielding his chopper, or the best at driving trucks. He had to be the best at all of these things, all at once. But like with all beings in the galaxy, perfection evaded him, until one fateful skirmish between the Goths and a Slaaneshi warband called the Iris Kings. The Chaos Lord of the Iris Kings wielded an abominable relic of Slaanesh, the Cannon of Pigments. The cannon itself once had many demonic properties when wielded by the forces of Slaanesh, but these properties have since been lost and are irrelevant to Kromadaka's story. What is relevant is the Cannon of Pigments paint job, a hideously beautiful cascade of rainbow colors. When Kromadaka killed the Chaos Lord and looted the Cannon of Pigments from his corpse, an epiphany struck him. The Chaos Lord's shooter was red, and thus it would reload faster. It was yellow, so it had more Daka. It was green, so it was the best of all firearms. It was blue, so it was a lucky find. And it was purple, so it would be stealthy in spite of all these things. And then, just as soon as the first revelation, a second struck him. If the gun could be all of these things due to its rainbow coloration, surely so could he. Thus, cloaked in newly rainbow-dyed trappings, Kromadaka took his closest friends and followers among the Orcs and broke away from the Goths to become the warboss of the Kolorful Krew. But the Kolorful Krew would be nothing without its many mobs and nobs, and first among them is the color red and a nob quick shooter. Red is, of course, the color that makes things go faster. Like any Orc warband, the Kolorful Krew liberally applies red paint to any wheel, squig, tread, gear, jet, helicopter and jetpack, which they wish to increase the speed of. Unlike other warbands, however, the Kolorful Krew believes that the power of the color red extends far past its applications to vehicles and mounts. The Kolorful Krew believes that ingesting red paint in large enough quantities will clock their guts and brains into high gear. Their hearts beat at breakneck speed, allowing them to find their second wind with little effort. Their food is absorbed quicker, allowing them to return to the fight in no time, and their minds register stimuli faster, granting them superior reflexes. The Orcs belonging to this crimson-coated mob call themselves the Red Boys and are led by Quick Shooter Speedigate, the nob most red. Quick Shooter is the youngest of Boss Kromadaka's 6 subordinates, and he's also quite likely the most fiercely loyal. Once part of a minor mob of speed boys fighting against Kromadaka, Quick Shooter was enamored by his foe's speed in combat. Despite not having a truck, all Kromadaka raced across the battlefield, his red boot prints the only trace left behind, as they shot through swathes of Quick Shooter's allies. Quick Shooter simply had to learn the enemy boss's secrets, and as soon as the skirmish came sputtering to a bloody end, he pledged his allegiance to the boss. Kromadaka was impressed by Quick Shooter's humility in the face of a greener boss and took him in as an apprentice in the way of going fast. The color orange and Nob Skullpupper. The Kolorful Krew don't merely parrot the beliefs on color held by every other Orc warband. Indeed, their thoughts on the color orange were freshly invented by none other than Nob Skullpupper Snipedead himself during his days as an Orc commando. In the sneaky and cunning reconnaissance of human agri-worlds and high-worlds, Skullpupper discovered 2 things. Firstly, that human children on agri-worlds were particularly fond of an ancient Terran plant known as a carrot for its ability to enhance eyesight. Additionally, when humans wanted to make sure they were visible to other humans on dangerous construction sites, they wore high-vis jackets colored orange. From these two observations, Skullpopper concluded that orange helps you see better. This idea spread like wildfire throughout his mob, and within the week, Skullpopper had become the galaxy's most talented orc sniper after donning his iconic orange goggles. Rumor has it, his aim is only limited by the curvature of the planet he's on. Shortly after his rise to fame, Skullpopper was invited to become the Knob Most Orange by old Kromadaka. In exchange for his servitude, Kromadaka offered him a lifetime supply of all the orange paint he could get his hands on. Skullpopper immediately accepted, not knowing that all he needed to do was mix together yellow and red. Skullpopper is a methodical and cunning orc who recognizes and admires Kromadaka's own brutal cunning. But if he ever discovers Kromadaka's deception, it's possible that the boss will be the next head between his orange-tinted crosshairs. The color yellow and Knob Thunderboy. The standard orc dogma with regards to yellow is clear. Yellow is the color of wealth, energy, and explosions. So being the color yellow makes you wealthy, and painting a weapon the color yellow makes it more explosive. As with the other colors, the colorful Krew has extrapolated these common myths about the color yellow into new and deadly territories. Unlike the slightly more sane boom boys of other warbands, the boom boys of the colorful Krew ingest yellow paint, turning themselves into crazed suicide bombers with quite literally explosive personalities. These yellow boys are characterized by their booming voices and disturbing maniacal cackle. Additionally, in the spirit of the affluence associated with the color yellow, the Yellow Boys mob organizes itself into a constantly shifting aristocracy with counterfeit gold-painted teeth, often proving to be a dominating force in their awkward economy. And on top of it all is none other than Thunderboy Big Clabs, the Knob Most Yellow. Being the figurehead of an explosively opulent empire within orc society is not a career that lends itself to a long life, and as such, there have been dozens of Knobs Most Yellow over the years, and each has taken up the name Thunderboy Big Claps. Legend within the colorful Krew posits that taking up Thunderboy Big Clap's name is far from a mere tradition, but rather an invitation to be possessed by the first Thunderboy Big Claps, a boomboy knob that killed the Slaneshi Chaos Lord that boss Kromadaka looted all those years ago. The color green, a knob messed up. Orcish beliefs surrounding the color green are as simple as they are crude and irrational. The reasoning goes that orcs are the best, better than other species. And since orcs are green, and almost all other species are not, the color green must be the best as well. It is because of this simplicity that green is the odd one out in this list of colors. While each of the other colors has a given odd boy or social niche to call its own, red with speed boys, orange with snipers and commandos, yellow with boom boys, blue with weird boys, and purple with stealth boys, green is the color of superiority and supremacy, and those traits, while obviously highly valued in orc culture, don't lend themselves to a subculture of its own. As such, the few orcs in the colorful Krew that have earned the privilege to call themselves green boys are not brought together by common cause or interest, but rather by the mutual respect of one another's general skill in combat. The green boys are composed of brilliant chopper wielders, the most accurate shooters, and all the would-be knobs that boss Kromadaka has not seen fit to promote to leader of a mob. As such, there was no orc more fitting to become the Knob Most Green than Knob Messed Up Green Guts. A hulking beast of a knob, standing at eye level with some war bosses, Green Guts was born with a series of mutations that have made him the most green in more ways than one. His blood and internal organs have produced a super awkward amount of fungus, which allows him to regenerate wounds at high speeds, and, as a side effect, literally makes his blood and guts green. The color blue, a knob star scrapper. Orc legend regarding the color blue speaks often of lucky blue gits. The tales go that orcs wearing blue or painted blue always find the best loot, always land the luckiest shots, and always win every game of dice. Obviously, the blue boys within the colorful Krew are largely comprised of standard looters and shooters, but the blue boys also make up nearly every odd boy not belonging to the other colors, from weird boys to mech boys to pain boys. This is no coincidence. Within orc culture, skill and specialization is inseparable from luck and born talent. So those orcs who are born with special capabilities and intuitions are clearly the luckiest. As such, they are welcomed into the blue boys with open arms. Fittingly, old Starscrapper, the knob most blue, is all of the above. A weird boy, a mech boy, and an expert looter. Blessed with extraordinary luck and intellect since the day of his birth, old Starscrapper is the only surviving knob from Kromadaka's original team of 6, which he claims is all thanks to the lucky blue star-shaped birthmark on his shoulder. With years of experience and intuition on his side, Starscrapper is the most intelligent and lethal of Kromadaka's knobs, in spite of his constant adherence to dozens of superstitions and his crippling phobia of someday becoming unlucky. The color purple and knob Gringog. A common myth throughout the Imperium goes that orcs paint themselves purple in order to turn invisible, reasoning to themselves that no one's ever seen a purple orc, and that therefore purple orcs can't be seen. In truth, to the Ordo Theoreticus' knowledge, no official Imperial documentation of such a phenomena has ever been reported, at least not outside of the Kolorful Krew, where the purple boys have been seen engaging in this exact behavior. Seeing as nearly all Imperial reconnaissance into their places of congregation has been sabotaged by their power of belief in the color purple, very little is known about the purple boys. What is known is that they are shunned by the rest of the crew, and that they worship the orcoid deity Mork with a feverish intensity, not dissimilarly to commandos of other orc hordes. While the orange boys and blue boys might prefer cunning to brutality on occasion, the purple boys embody brutal cunning to its every letter. They have outwitted Lord Commissars with decades of experience, hidden from the prying eyes of the Death Watch, and even snuck past the limitless purview of inquisitorial agents. So secretive and effective are the purple boys that whether or not their leader even exists is a secret, even to them. Grimgog Dashasha, the knob most purple, is an enigma. None of the purple boys have ever personally spoken with him, or even seen his face for that matter. But nonetheless, he exerts a subtle and powerful influence on his mob by whispering thoughts into their dreaming heads, or crumping those who dare speak against them. At least, so the legends go. But the most eerie legend about Grimgog Dashasha says that when the purple boys or even orcs of other mobs have grown too rowdy and loud during a stealth mission, Grimgog will appear, his menacing aura blending into the shadows. He will give one command, a gentle shush, and no orc has ever dared disobey.